All right, there we go. So we are live. Hi guys. I really need to get like some kind of intro or something so it doesn't just start. But you know, whatever. That's for the ending. That's for the ending though. It can't be the intro, can it?
Yeah.
Should we make it the intro?
No, why not?
Oh, okay, okay. Well,
the outro.
All right. Well, hold on for a second, guys. Be quiet.
Uh-oh, someone has the listen page up. There you go.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Here it is. Okay, there we go.
Nice.
Yeah, it was coming from me. Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah, and welcome to Kent with Ben 34 or something. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, we're doing it over here because this didn't really quite fit with the normal Kent with Bent stuff, so I offered to do this one over here. And at the top, we've who's that way up there waving?
Beethoven, no relation. Drinking my tea of the kombucha type. And this one is passion berry bliss because I am full of passion and berries and bliss.
Wow.
You want to show it again for a second? Show it to the camera again. Are you sponsored?
I am sponsored by nobody, but I like kombucha.
You got that really cool blanket back there.
Yeah, I'm sponsored by that blanket. That is a Dapper Dino blanket. You can buy it on Dapper Dino's Teespring. Just
Correct.
go buy it right now. We'll wait. All right, congratulations on your purchase. I'll get it in a couple weeks, I guess. I don't know.
And how's the Dino up there with his fancy new screen?
Oh, I've got a great new DM screen, and Murphy and Geth are around to come say hi. So, you know, yeah, my set is all ready for role-playing games, which is a thing that we're going to be doing because we're working on that. We're getting progress done in the background, and yeah. And I might even, I'm planning on even also running a not a D&D game in addition to the D&D game that I am going to be running. So there's going to be a lot of RPG stuff in the next few months. Oh, clickety clackety.
It's cool.
What happened?
Sorry, that was me. Somebody was yelling and screaming outside about something that was, I'm sure, very important to them. So I figured I closed. Maybe he knew we were gonna read this, and he decided that he was not happy. So yeah. Also, you've got me here. Surprise. What's going on? We've got Kent Hovind suing the U.S. government for over $500 million.
Which is such a crazy amount.
What a bizarre... He sounds like Mr. Evil, to be honest. So we've got a crossover of Goblin reads and Kent with Bent.
It's the best crossover.
It's exciting.
The internet is not ready for this.
This author...
I think the chat is.
This author has a blurb under their name that says, I focus on the tax issues of individuals, business, and more. Tax issues. $500 million.
Which is, I still cannot believe that he thinks that's reasonable.
Are we ready? Is this the right dinosaur?
Oh, I'm ready.
Did they get the dinosaur right?
Yes.
Ooh,
so they get it mostly right. There's a few problems here and there. The neck is a little bit off, but it's better than normal, and the feet are also pretty good, so I'm just gonna give it to him.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, do we need to know, Dapper, did you say what you were drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking a cheap whiskey and a cheap ginger ale.
Ooh, nice.
I'm
I've
drinking
just got
store brand whiskey and store brand ginger ale because I'm a cheap bastard.
Very nice. So, Kent Hovind has finally followed through on the lawsuit that he promised to bring to seek compensation for what he sees as unjust imprisonment. I like how they added the he sees.
Right.
As unjust
No one else sees it that way.
As unjust imprisonment and theft of his property. He had always indicated that it was going to be a lot, but frankly I hadn't expected anything near 536 thousand, no, what is that? $536,041,100.
It's such an absurd amount.
It is.
There's got to be a reason for that exact amount, and I can't wait to find out what it is.
I would have thought 40 or 50 million would have been enough. Nope,
Yeah,
500.
you think so?
$536 million. Billions.
My God.
Man.
Ken Hovind wants to start his own military, and that's going to be his funding.
For his sovereign land.
Oh yeah.
Rez Instant says he had to come over here because of Spurs. Red's Rhetoric is also streaming right now. He's doing a debate with Spurs.
Oh.
Debate.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I think you made the right choice. There's only so much flat Earth debate I can really do.
Nikki Daly says, "Oh my God, Spurs hurts my head." I haven't seen Spurs since I chased him off last year, and now I'm not allowed going back on Red's channel for flat Earth stuff because I chased them all
Spurs
away.
is the one who let everyone know that you were transitioning, right?
No, that was Russian vids.
Oh, okay. I bet Spurs wouldn't disagree.
That's quite a number. Yes, it is. The lawsuit relates to a 2006 prosecution for structuring, failure to withhold and pay payroll taxes, and interfering with the administration of the tax laws. That's a lot. Hovin's
and it was 9 counts, and he was found guilty on all 9 counts.
Was it 9? I never remember.
Yep.
I always think it's 7 for some reason.
That's because you're 17.
Oh. That makes sense. Hovin's I thought it was because my small brain, smooth brain IQ meant that I couldn't count
numbers.
past 7. That's
Also
why.
possibly.
So I know I'm 17 though because it's just a 1 and a 7 put together.
But that's why you can't get to 18 because that's too high a number on one of the digit places. But you could skip all the way to like 61 and it would be fine.
Yeah, there you go. Hovin's long-suffering first wife, Jo, ended up with a year in federal prison. Hovind himself was not released until 2015, having served over 8 years. Yep. Can we point out that the main reason why Hovind is even back and has airtime again on the internet is because of King Steve?
Yep, it's Steve's fault. Actually, I'll be honest. So I've gotten a lot of lulls out of that. So
it's so funny.
I don't super mind, but
fair enough.
Yeah. It is definitely we can blame Steve.
100%.
Blame Steve.
Yeah, no. If anybody wants to go give Steve a hard time, go bug him about bringing Ken Hovind back to the internet, please.
Yep.
He or his ministry also forfeited a substantial amount of property. Players.
They basically forfeited the entire land that was Dinosaur Adventureland, with the exception of some like admin buildings or something that Eric Hovind currently has control of.
Yes. So the players. The plaintiffs are Kent E. Hovind and Paul John Hanson as trustee for Creation Science
Evangelism.
Thank you. I got caught on evangelical. I was trying to call it evangelicalism, and I'm like, that's not what that
Well, that's
says.
actually a thing. It's just a different thing.
Oh, I thought my brain was just making up words.
Yeah. Evangelicalism describes a certain strain of Protestant theology.
Well, yeah,
Whereas
I know what an
evangelism is the idea that you go out and evangelize
is the active, yeah, it's the verb.
Yeah.
Creation Science, I can't say it. Evangelism. There we go.
Yeah. There you go.
A non-statutory trust. You'd think I was the one drinking. Paul John Hanson was Kent's co-defendant when he was prosecuted in 2015, near the end of his 2006 sentence, for actions he took to affect the title of property that had been seized. I covered that story pretty intensely. Here's a summary with some video. I'll click on this just in case.
I do know a little bit about some of that, and
no, go for it.
If I remember correctly, some of that involved Ken Hovind attempting to transfer some property to different titles in the hopes that since it was no longer owned by him according to the title, the government couldn't seize it, but that's not how that works.
Oh, isn't that what Ken Ham was trying to do with trying to avoid taxes with the ARC?
He was trying to do it in order, to avoid taxes, but not to avoid seizure.
Right, yeah. It's
that
different.
actually did work for him. He didn't end up having to pay the safety tax after he transferred the Ark Encounter to his nonprofit.
Right.
But it also made the Ark Encounter no longer available for the various other tax breaks it was getting as a for-profit business. So he quickly reversed that decision and decided to pay the safety tax rather than pay the much higher taxes that he would have to pay if he transferred it to the nonprofit.
So this is actually a pretty in-depth.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite the thing.
A filmmaker's view of the trials of Kent Hovind. It's like all of the while it was happening, interviews and stuff.
Goodness.
I guess not while it was happening, unless this is originally published in Forbes in June 2015.
So that would have probably been his other trial, because there was another trial involving things like mail fraud and threatening prosecutors. Because during his time incarcerated, he committed mail fraud and was recorded on prison phones threatening prosecutors or plotting to harm prosecutors. It turns out that actually he was acquitted as a result of jury nullification. One of the jurors vote guilty, and so there was a hung jury, and the government opted not to retry.
Oh. Well, Letty says Kent Ham von Comfort.
That sounds like the worst crossover.
And welcome to the membership. Enjoy your emojis. Okay, so Kent was saved from additional prison time by some shark legal work and a bit of juror nullification, but Hanson ended up with an 18-month sentence in August 2015. 10 of the months had already been served, so he only had to serve another 8. The defendants are the United States of America, Margaret Catherine Rogers, the estate of John David Roy Atchison, Michelle Heldmeyer, Scott Schneider, and Alan Stewart Ritchie. I'm going to point out right now, I absolutely hate reading people's names. It's such a crapshoot. Rogers was the judge in both he's trying to sue the judge?
Yeah, you normally... As far as I know, like, I'm not a lawyer, so hashtag not legal advice, but as far as I know, you normally can't directly sue the judge in your case.
Right.
You can sue whatever government body they work for, which means that, like, suing the United States of America as, the federal government, that's perfectly allowed. Like, that's a thing people do. You can definitely do that. A lot of people do it every day.
Right.
But normally you can't sue the judge, because the reason is that there's going to be a little bit of a level of protection, so the judges can be allowed to make mistakes on the bench because no one's perfect, and it ends up being the government body they work for who ends up having to pay for that. And then they can do things like give additional guidance, or maybe the judge can be fired or something. But if you actually put judges personally on the hook for cases, they would basically just refuse to try cases where they would be on the hook for too much money if they screwed it up.
I think,
like, if you're a judge who makes $200,000 a year, what are you going to do if you're liable for a $500 million case? You're just not going to rely.
Well, Mr. Sirius says, "LOL, rule in my favor, or I'll sue you."
Basically, that's exactly what that is. By naming the judge, acquit me, or I won't make you pay.
And Icarus says we need OTP judge. I was actually considering, I was a little bit too late to be able to get OPT lawyer in here. I would love to get him on, because we were talking about potentially covering Kent suing his son Eric. So if we cover that, I think we will go ahead and get we'll try and get him for that, and try and schedule for that one. So so Rogers was the judge in both the 2006 and 2015 case. Do you think Kent was disappointed that he had the same judge both times? I feel like that probably pissed him off.
I
think the judge felt.
I know. The judge has to deal with Kent. She has to deal with Kent Hovind twice.
Kent suing Eric with Erica. Bent with Kent suing Eric with Erica.
That would be funny. I want to see Eric with Erica named as a defendant, and then someone has to try and find where I live to serve me. Which I guess you could just ask Google. They tell you.
Yeah. Atchison and Heldmeyer were U.S. attorneys involved in the prosecution. Scott Schneider was an IRS-CI agent, and Alan Stewart Ritchie was Hoven's attorney in the 2006 trial. What a bizarre list of people.
He's suing his own attorney. Awesome.
Why do this sounds like some Kyle bullshit? Sorry, go ahead, Pent.
I mean, it does. Sorry. What were you saying, Pent?
I just said sue everyone involved in the case, and that's what he's doing.
Basically, yeah. I'm surprised he's not suing Joe. Like, why not sue Joe, right? She wrongfully divorced me. I'm gonna sue her.
I sue my ex-wife.
That's
because...
after he sues Eric.
Right.
Yeah.
I was waiting
next.
for that one to be done. Oh no. Some background. Kent Hovind is an independent. Do we really need to read who Kent Hovind is? Kent Hovind is an independent. Kent Hovind is an independent Baptist minister who made the embarrassing young Earth creationism a hallmark of his ministry.
Young Earth says the embrace of, not the embarrassing.
The what?
It says the embrace of, not the embarrassing, to be fair.
I feel like I'm right, and the article's wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong about what young Earth creationism is. I'm just saying the text doesn't quite say that.
Oh, God. Minister who has made the embrace of young Earth creationism a hallmark of his ministry. Young Earth creationism is the notion that there is scientific support for a hyper-literal reading of the book of Genesis. When you sum up all those big begots and tack on 7 days, the world is just a bit over 6,000 years old. I almost read sum up as simp.
Hey, you know what? Feel free to simp the Bible if you really want to.
How long is this video? Do we want to look at the... Oh, God, it's 32 minutes.
No.
No, don't care.
Oh, I did one of his Bible study videos. Those are... Look, his recent content has been the most boring crap, and his Bible study videos are even worse. So, goodness no.
Oh, fair. Kent explained it near the opening of his most recent video. He usually opens with something similar. Quote, oh, who wants to do their Kent Hovind impression?
I'll do it.
Okay.
All right, let's hear it.
We're the folks at Dinosaur Adventureland who believe the Bible is literally true and the evolution theory is capital D dumb. God made everything in 6 days. Dinosaurs always lived with man. We believe the evolution theory is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the history of the world.
Very nice.
In the opening, What? There's another quote coming.
A little bit more. My only comment is you need a little bit more throat clearing and coughing.
In the opening, he also gives us his view on current events, which is consistent with the perspective he has put out since the 90s.
Our Resident Hovind?
Is it me again? All right.
Yeah.
It's going all over the place. This is all part of a political move because it is the election year. You watch. There's a much bigger plan here. First the virus, and now the riots. It's all part of a get ready for the tribulation time.
Round of applause.
Round
of applause.
That takes a lot of energy.
If you're
next time I can give you a break.
If you're willing to sacrifice 3 hours of lifespan, you can get a full exposition in Kent Hovind's classic The Dangers of Evolution. How many hours have you guys spent?
Oh my goodness. You add up all the Kent with... Okay, so we've done, 33 of them?
33.
Most of them are about 2 hours, but some are less, but one of them is 5 hours. So we'll just assume we double it. We've done 66 hours of Kent with Ben content about... roughly, and we didn't cover this one because it's basically just like Godwin's Law for 3 hours. And I do not want that on my channel.
But how much of him did we watch before we started streaming it?
Quite
a bit.
Quite a bit. It was mostly debates.
It was debates, but it was 7 or 8 of them.
Are you going to cover debates on Kent with Ben? I don't think I've seen you guys do one of those yet.
We have done them in the past. The problem that we have is that when Kent's opponent goes, we rarely have much to say.
You just gotta skip the opponent. Because Kent's just gonna say whatever he's gonna say, no matter what the other guy said.
We could do that. Right now, our plan is after we finish with the current seminar series, which is part of this, we're on the 7th part, which is his Q&A section, where no one actually asks him questions. He reads his own questions from a pre-prepared list of things that he says are common questions.
And then answers them poorly.
Actually, this is the next thing we're looking at doing, is his CSE course, which is a course that he claims, or series of courses he claims he taught for college credit that was apparently accepted by various Bible schools for credit, which is just horrifying.
Rez wants to know, Dapper, why is Legion creeping into your room?
That's not Legion.
It's Geth.
Yeah, it's just Geth.
It's not Legion specifically?
It's a regular old Geth infantry platform.
Yeah.
Notice there's no N7 shoulder.
Well, you can't see his shoulders, to be fair.
Well, okay, but you can see him on other of my videos.
Yeah, that's true.
And it is just a regular old infantry platform for the Geth. And it's because I'm friends with the Geth.
Aww.
Hang out.
Hovind also advocates unconventional views on the income tax. Unconventional?
To put it mildly.
That was the next video in his series CSE 103 Class 6. That one is a lifespan investment of just over an hour and a quarter, but just a bit after the 2 minute and 10 mark. I'm assuming that's not 2 hours.
No, it's 2 minutes. Well, because it's only an hour and a quarter, so it can't be 2 hours 10.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I was thinking about the 3 hour one before. 2 minute 10 mark. You will hear Hovind say that he has not filed income taxes in 28 years. Should we play the clip of him?
This video. Yeah, it says it. It's great.
2:10. Oh, it's already clipped.
Out the middle class. The middle class ends up paying the burden.
Why did it do that? That sucks.
For it, I'm against it. That seemed to be kind of his attitude.
There we go.
Go get him, Brother Hovind. Some other Christians might say, oh, you shouldn't talk about that. Well, my philosophy is everybody should obey the law, including the government. Right? Real simple. I have not filed any income tax in 28 years. If there's a law requiring me to file something, I would like to see it. I have the entire Internal Revenue Code right here, thoroughly marked up, indexed. You're welcome to check out anything. I know the subject pretty well.
Yep.
Does he know that subject pretty well?
He knows it in the way that sovereign citizens claim to know it, which is to say, no.
So does he know it about as well as he knows that evolutionists say that we all came from a rock?
Wait, we all came from an atheist?
Yeah!
Oh!
That's gonna be a running joke. I'm just happy that this has turned from like an actual philosophical argument that people are trying to make to now it's just a joke. Like nobody
But here's the thing. We need to start every once in a while calling Kent Hovind and see if we can get him to shift his "you think we came from a rock" to "you think we came from a rock and you think rocks are atheists."
Oh, God.
See if we can get him to add that straw man in.
Oh, that'd be so... Well, it's not a straw man depending on who he's talking to.
Well, that's true. It's a straw man for most people he talked to, but...
That's so funny.
I want it to happen. So I can't imagine that he would remember me if I called him. I might actually call him and say, you heard what the atheists are doing now? They're calling rocks atheists. You should add that to your opener about rocks and things coming from rocks.
The first change that Kent Hovind has made to his script since the 80s is that he's added this. 10 out of 10. 10 out of... Do it. Please make this happen.
I'll see what I can do. I could probably call him up. I'm not going to do it now.
Anytime, if you guys see Kent going in debates and he's talking about that, be sure to like add that into the comments and like at him so that he like catches on to it. Don't harass him. Just like make him aware. That'd be glorious. I believe in you guys. Aware of this. I believe in you.
Hey, you know what? At that point, I would agree with Kent on something, that the rocks or atheist thing is stupid. Like, I would be like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm on board with Kent on this one.
Mr. Serious says that idea rocks, and I think he should see himself out. Kidding, I love you. All right. In his innocence narratives and his protestations of not being a protester, Hofen does not mention this video and his admission of not filing because no law, in his view, required him to. In his view.
Right. Well, I mean, it's obviously not the government's view that there is no such law.
I'm sensing a bit of sass from the person writing this.
Oh yeah. This is that sort of formal, sassy tone that you get, which I love.
This wasn't written by Eric Hofen. Okay, just checking.
I feel like if it was written by Eric, it would be a little bit more seething. Like it'd be more angry.
Well, no, because here's the thing: Eric has to be careful around his father because he has a lot of overlap in fans.
That's true.
Right. And also, because he got a large amount of his material from his father, he even does some similar, not quite the same tax stuff, but he gets into that area a little bit sometimes. So Eric basically just ignores his father's existence to the maximum extent possible.
No, fair. I feel bad for Eric, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Eric clearly had a pretty rough upbringing.
Yeah. Over time, his argument would shift to having taken a vow of poverty, with everything being owned by CSE, the non-statutory trust. What? I don't buy that for a second.
I'm sure if he won his full $536 million, I'm sure all of it would just go to like food banks and homeless shelters, right? Because he took a vow of poverty.
I want to know how many Hawaiian shirts he would buy with all that money.
Well, Ben, you've got some on your wish list, right? What are they, like $7 a pop?
No, they're like $20.
Really? Okay, well,
I
you
know,
could probably.
I know.
Oh, but he claims he gets them in bulk for like 50 cents each, though.
No.
Yeah, he says.
Why are there not more homeless people running around with Hawaiian shirts?
You think Kent is gonna give people his cloak, even if he has only one?
I don't even care.
Jesus told him to?
I don't even care if it's Kent doing it. If that's a thing that exists, why are there not more charities utilizing it?
Well, I think one of the problems is that in order to get that kind of bulk, you have to put in like a $100 order or some craziness, and so this is me, recalling something from some random Kent stream I saw at one point.
Can we call it Hawaiian shirts for the homeless?
We can. But his claim was one of his fans owns a clothing store, and she buys clothing, obviously in gigantic bulk because she's planning to sell it. So, she can put in like a $300 order for, 5,000 Hawaiian shirts or something.
Yeah.
And then she just sends him a bundle. Whereas if you're homeless, you can't get
I'm not saying that the homeless people are going to order it. I'm saying the outreach programs and the charities. Okay. Yeah. Why don't the homeless just buy shirts in bulk?
So
what?
I'll be honest. I would actually be open to doing something like trying to figure out what's a reasonable distribution method, and then can we contact a clothing manufacturer and say, hey, what's the bulk purchase minimum and price for these Hawaiian shirts? And then just do a GoFundMe for that amount and see if we can get people to donate, and then we can find, we can use whatever distribution method we found to just give a bunch of homeless people Hawaiian shirts, and we can do it in Kent Hoven's name, because when was the last time he donated to homeless people?
What state is he in? Because we should do it in that state, because there would be nothing more amusing than seeing Kent Hoven walking down the street in Alabama matching shirts with every single homeless person.
That would be great. We might need someone who's physically in Alabama, so if any of you watching or who watch in the future are in Alabama, let us know. Say something in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
This would be a great way to both have a nice little troll at Kent Hoven and honestly help people, right? I'm pretty sure that a lot of homeless people would appreciate a new shirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in Alabama, Hawaiian shirts are a great thing because it's hot and humid down there. So you're going to get a nice, light, breezy, breathable shirt. That's a good day.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Where were we? For what it's worth.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, whenever the term non-statutory trust occurs in the body of tax authority, it is a protester case that does not end well for the taxpayer, as Kent experienced.
Yeah, so basically that's a sovereign citizen little trick that they're like, oh, if I call it a trust, they can't get it. I'm like, no, that's never been how that works.
Yep. Ironically, had Hovind organized CSE as a conventional 501c3, he could have managed things to pay very little in the way of income tax. The new CSE that runs the Lennox Dinosaur Adventureland was organized as a 501c3 and now has church status, relieving it even of the Form 990 requirement. So basically, if he had finagled it properly in the first place, he would have paid less, and the way he's got it set up now is the right way to do it.
Right. In fact, one of his legal arguments in his original case was that the money in question wasn't his money, it was God's money.
Yep. Me and Ben just did the exact same thing.
Oh my gosh. I'm doing the Picard face palm.
Oh God.
In case you guys, so okay, I gotta explain one thing. I used to be an unironic Kent Hovind fan. Way back when I was a young dinosaur in human high school, because I had to learn human stuff in order to do things in human society, right? I was an unironic Kent Hovind fan, despite somehow having lived for 150 million years. Doesn't make sense. Don't worry about it. But that's why I know all this, because I was following this when it was happening. Like, what? This guy I used to I watch his stuff and be a fan of his books and whatnot when I was in high school. He's going to jail for tax evasion, and it was like the O.J. Simpson trial, but for crazy creationism.
Did that kind of shake your opinion of what you were reading before?
Oh, well, by then I had already realized that Kent Hovind was at best not good at science. I didn't realize at that time just how bad he was. That's been a more recent thing as I've been looking more and more into it, as I've been doing stuff like Kent with Bent.
Right.
But also, we've got 28 people watching, and I'm seeing only 18 likes, so we need at least 10 people to hit like.
The complaint. The complaint indicates that rights were violated under the 4th, 5th, 6th, 9th, 10th, 13th, and 14th Amendments. Jesus! And that the acts were committed under color of state and federal law in bad faith with malicious purpose and willful disregards of the plaintiff's rights.
Oh, goodness.
So Kent
also,
is saying...
Point something out.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, if you think... Now, this is something I don't much care for in the American legal system as it is currently. But as a general rule, the last time any 10th Amendment argument worked was Roe v. Wade, and it was the first time in a century. If you put the 10th Amendment in, that's basically meaningless. No court cares about the 10th Amendment. I'm just letting you know. The 10th Amendment is basically, hey, you have other rights that aren't listed in the previous 9, and they can't be violated, but we're not going to enumerate them because we can't think of all of them.
Oh, okay.
So basically, every time you say there's a 10th Amendment right, you're basically saying, hey, this thing that no one has ever said is a right explicitly should be considered a right. And then sometimes the courts can be like, yeah, okay, I guess, but they almost never do.
Makes sense. So he's trying to say that there's a violation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 amendments in total.
Which, I mean, it's not impossible. There were warrants, so I don't see how that the 4th Amendment applies, because that's the you can't be searched without a warrant. But I'm surprised he doesn't have the 2nd Amendment in there.
We then start moving into what you might call Paul John Hanson law from there. For example, there's this thing about land of the United States.
Yeah, that's a sovereign citizen shit.
The Enclave Argument. Part of the complaint is that the defendants were imposing United States written law in land that is not evidenced as being land of the United States as defined in Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 17 of the Constitution of the United States. This a sovereign citizen sort of argument. I think this is supposed to say this sovereign citizen sort of. It's amazing how many small errors you find when you start reading something out loud. The paragraph cited reads, Dapper, do you want to read the paragraph cited since we made Bent do his...
Yeah. Okay.
Or
Okay.
does
So
Bent want to try to do it?
Kent persona here.
Or Bent, do you want to do it?
No. Well, yeah. Who
I saw Bent make a
face.
face. Do you want to do it, Bent?
Oh.
Is this a Kent quote?
No.
Yeah. Well,
No.
I don't know if this is a Kent quote or not.
It's not.
Well,
No.
so
It's.
if I do it, I'm still gonna do it like I am Kent.
Okay, why don't you do it as if you were Kent?
Okay. To exercise legislation in all cases whatsoever over such a district, not exceeding 10 square miles, as may, by cessation of particular states and acceptance of Congress, become the seat of government of the United States, and to exercise authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings.
That's what I needed in my life. I needed to hear an impression of Kent Hovind saying the word erection. Although
Well, you've heard him talk about 15-foot whale penises, right?
it's my favorite part about that was that your Kent Hovind impression got better as you coughed.
You have to get into person. The excessive respiratory distress is really what sells Kent Hovind.
Respiratory distress. The reasoning seems to be that since the United States has exclusive jurisdiction in those places, it does not have any jurisdiction in the rest of the country.
Yup, which is not how that works.
I don't think that's how any of that works.
No,
Hanson
it
would
turns out high school civics could have fixed that problem.
Hanson would add other than by contract. This argument is echoed at the very end of the complaint, before the appendices in the footnotes referencing address that lets us know that 32503 and 36475 zip codes for Pensacola, Florida, and Repton, Alabama, respectively, are, quote,
Only for mailing purposes. This subject land is not evidenced as being seceded or purchased by the United States of America, thus not a federal zone.
Another enclave enthusiast in Shadowlands Fear and Freedom at the Oregon Standoff.
Oh god, that's an
what?
amazing title.
Oh god, is this a book?
It looks like. Oh goodness. Oh.
Oh no.
Free audiobook with your audio.
Yeah, but I would have to
trial.
I would have to spend one of my credits. I'm not spending a credit on Shadowlands Fear and Freedom at the Oregon Standoff.
It's $20 for a hard copy. I'm going to hold on. I'm just gonna grab this link. Hold on. I'm gonna grab this, and I'm gonna put that on my wish list, and then I'm gonna give it to Manya.
Ace.
She's talking about wanting to read online. Do you think she'll be mad at me?
But does she want to know? She might. I think she'll find it funny. She might be slightly like exasperated, but I think she'll find it funny. Is she like interested in reading about like the soft craziness? Because it happens in basically all of the like the British common law type countries.
No, I think she was talking more about like wanting to read out loud on YouTube, as like, because I think she was enjoying the Dracula that you were doing, and she did it a little bit on Little Red's channel, so send her that book.
Okay. Actually, so speaking of Dracula, if you go over to my off-topic channel, Top Hats Off, Chapter 3 was the most recent chapter of Dracula uploaded. Chapter 4 is another one that I'm doing, but then after that, we're getting like 3 or 4 chapters in a row that Manya's doing. So Manya's going to be not the next chapter, but the several after that. So if you want to hear Manya with better audio quality than she sometimes has live, check that out. It's hey, it's a free way to listen to Dracula. It's a good book.
In Shadowlands Fear and Freedom at the Oregon Standoff, Anthony McCann goes into the Enclave argument as it was argued by Amon Bundy?
I think it's Eamon.
Eamon Bundy? Yeah.
Bundy.
There is a rather fascinating Bundy/Hoven connection. There were two Bundy dramas. There was the ranch standoff focusing on Cliven and the occupation of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, where Cliven's son A-Man.
Yeah, I think it's A-Man.
A-Man stood out. The ranch was a 2014 thing, and the occupation was in 2016. So, yeah, Bull, this is what they're talking about. And they both absorbed a lot of attention from extreme right-wing alternative media. Alternative media? Oh, God.
Yeah, that's like the sort of far right, like YouTube type people. Like, we're talking like significantly far to the right of, say, Ben Shapiro. So if you think Ben Shapiro is pretty far to the right, it's because you have not encountered this section.
Oh, are we
YouTube.
talking about like Adam Kokesh?
Well, no. So Adam Kokesh was broadly in favor, but it depends on how much you think libertarian is right-wing, because libertarians don't generally think of themselves as right-wing, mostly because when it comes to like social issues, like they're all like, oh yeah, you know, like LGBTQ rights are great because, you know, we shouldn't be infringing on anyone for, you know, non-violent tendencies. They also tend to be really big opponents of the drug war, which is not a big right-wing thing.
Yeah,
so like, yeah, it's more like an Alex Jonesy kind of right-wing than it is like an Adam Kokesh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. One of the more zealous, I'm sorry, what? Vindicators?
Oh my gosh.
That's an amazing word. Oh my goodness. I love that word.
So, if I ever, please, everybody needs to remind me, if I ever make another, like, level in my Patreon, it needs to be called Goblin Vindicators. Because that's amazing.
That's the $1,000 tier.
Oh my god, how many points is this worth in Scrabble?
Oh my goodness, Vindicator, that's amazing.
I'm keeping that.
Oh, I suddenly just now I'm in love with this author. This author called me.
Yeah, right? One of the most zealous Vindicators was broadcaster Peter Santilli. He made a threatening on-air call to Judge Rogers. Oh, this was what we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, she's the judge in both of his criminal cases.
Yeah, when we were talking about making threats during the thing when you gave the TLDR of what had happened, yeah. The original was taken down, but it is preserved in this brief piece on the trial by Interlock Media starting at 4:13. Do we want to listen to it?
Yes.
Yeah, as long as we skip to 4:13, I want to listen to it.
Yeah.
It actually starts at the right place. Thanks,
Nice.
guy.
Dr. Dino was reborn as the poster boy of a dangerously extreme social media campaign that turned ugly.
Judge Rogers' chambers.
Hello, could I speak to Judge Rogers, please?
She's not available at the moment. This is Kathy. May I help you?
Kathy, are you her assistant?
Yes, I am.
You are. Could I get a message to her? Tell her my name is Pete Santilli, okay? This is a disgusting thing that she's doing. And it's not going to stand. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm calling upon
0 to 10 in 1
single
second.
Christian to surround that courthouse during that trial, and I demand right now, and the judge can do this, just have Pastor Hoven released, okay? Have him released. Can she get that done? Does she have the power?
Not really.
How dare this woman do her job?
I know. And that's one of the things that annoys me is it's like, okay, I don't agree that you should do this to the judge herself, but the woman he's talking to now is just some secretary. This is just her job. I guarantee you this woman does not give two shits about the Hoven case. She does not care. She's there to take messages.
This is a 9 to 5.
File paperwork. Yeah, this is just her 9 to 5. And this is one of the things like that I really hate is when people treat things like, you know, customer service people or, you know, people at retail counters and whatnot as like subhuman trash or as the people that they should properly be directing their anger towards. Because I mean, let's say that Judge Rogers actually was significantly in the wrong and she deserves this kind of abuse. I don't think that's the case, but let's just say it is.
Well, I mean, people are allowed to protest. So, like, if there were Christians who decided to be at the courthouse protesting peacefully, that would be fine. But that's not what this is, obviously.
But this secretary does not deserve any of this. She didn't do a damn thing to Kent Hovind or Pete Santilli or Christianity. Well, I guess I can't say for certain she didn't do any of those things, but there's no indication that she did. Like, there's literally no reason to do this to this woman. And it's just gross.
Yeah, okay, I want to ask the chat, and I want to ask you guys what do you think. Odds, 1 in the chat if you think that the guy's going to calm down, and that's basically as bad as it's going to get. 2 in the chat if you think this is going to escalate and get worse. Ben, what do you think?
It's a 2, for sure.
You think 2?
Yeah, I don't think it'll calm down. I'm not positive it'll get worse. I think it'll either get worse or stay pretty constant. I think one of those two.
Consistent? So option 3 is that it stays consistent. So chat, you let us know what you think. 3.
Yeah.
2. Oh, hold on. Icarus said if you identify as an atheist, how else do you identify yourself? 1, igneous, 2, sedimentary, 3, metamorphic, or 4...
Can we start the counter meme that atheists are rocks?
Ding! This is the counter just goes up in the corner. Oh god. Oh. All right, so it looks like everybody's saying 2 for the most part. 2 is the highest.
I don't think
so
it's
far.
gonna. Like, when do these people ever calm down? Honestly.
Oh yeah, good point. All right, here we go.
Hello.
She does. Have her release him right there. We'll meet you at the courthouse steps.
That sounded threatening.
The amount of injustices that have been done to Kent Hovind is staggering. He got put in jail for structuring laws, which were meant
the same guy?
for money
this is a different
laundering
guy.
and embezzlement and drug runners, and they applied these structuring laws to a Baptist minister.
How Texas
The
this is.
purge-proof loyalist in Dr. Dino's ad hoc cabinet, Ernie Land,
I don't think we need to watch the rest of
anxiously
this.
witnessed the jury selection.
Okay,
But
so
that second guy, though, I love how absurdly Texas he was. He had the hat. He had the
strings
he had
on
the
the
flag in
glasses.
the background. Yeah, everything about this guy just screams every Texan stereotype you've ever heard. The only thing missing is the bolo tie. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you think he's got spurs on his shoes? I don't mean like he stepped in the shitbag that is spurs. I mean like actual spinning spurs.
For his horse that he rode to the studio.
Nice.
Yeah, I hope so. And look, I actually don't have a
front.
thing against Texas. Like, I actually have some fondness for like the.
Yeah, you're talking about the stereotype, not the place.
Like, I have a fondness for like, people who embrace
Barbecue.
that. They're like, you know what? I'm from Texas. Here's the flag. I got my cowboy hat. I ride a horse to work. Like, you know what? Good for you. That's great. I'm happy that you have this kind of enthusiasm for where you live, because that sounds like a lot of fun. So good job.
Smitty in the chat said 1 in the chat if you think this guy has ever wrangled cows, 2 if not.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 2, and it's a weird thing. There's certain parts of the United States that are like super obsessed with the Old West cowboy thing, but like in real life that lasted about 40 years total in U.S. history.
About
like,
as long as any of them were
band.
expected to live.
Yeah.
This is 1 generation.
Yeah, basically, yeah. No one actually was born and then died. Like no one was born and reached old age during the Old West period. Like, that's not what a thing that happened. Like, that entire period's like 40 years. It's crazy.
Oh god. All right. Pete Santilli would go on to be a sort of embedded report at the Malheur occupation. Santilli faced charges for his role in both standoffs. His call to Judge Rogers was a negative factor in considering whether he should be released prior to trial.
Ooh, nice own goal, buddy. Nice own goal.
You played yourself. the rest of the legal arguments. Hovind has 2 advocates promoting his innocence narrative with 2 different approaches. Brandy Burham is working on generating public support for a pardon by President Trump. People.
Okay. Here's one thing I want to point out. Okay, in the United States, now I don't know how this works in other countries, but in the United States, it has been well established legally that accepting a pardon constitutes an admission of guilt. So, this seeking a pardon directly opposes the entire point of Kent Hovind trying to sue the government.
Right.
Now, I'm not a lawyer, but it seems to me like that is, in fact, evidence that he does not consider himself not guilty of these crimes. Because if he did, why would he seek a pardon, which is an admission of guilt? All right, I'm going to grab myself a refreshed drink while we fix that.
And it's reconnected. That's okay. It's going to take a second for the stream to cycle, so go do your thing.
Well, I'm still here.
It's us! Hooray! We got an internet hiccup, so Dapper ran away. He took his opportunity and he ran, like the coward he is.
I know it looks like he's still there, but that's just your imagination.
It's true. It's true. Oh, God. How was your day?
Yeah, I think a Trump pardon for Hovind would be absolutely incredible. And I don't know if incredible is good or bad or medium. I don't know. It would be amazing.
It would be one of those where it's like a kind of hilarious if he gets it and hilarious if he doesn't get it because he's trying. Kitty!
Yeah.
I don't think Trump's ever
Doggo! It was Doggo! I thought it was a cat. I only saw the tail and I thought it was a kitty. It's
no, there's a Doggo.
Hey, pups.
That's the cutest puppers.
That's Jarowski.
Oh my God, look at his ears! Oh. Can we get a puck in the chat, please?
Yes, puck in the chat for Doggo.
For Doggo, making friends.
By the way, Jarowski has finally realized that I'm not a jerk, and so she's stopped barking at me at every second of the time that I'm at Ben's house.
She doesn't bark much anymore.
Well, that's good. Well, except when the doorbell rings.
She barks when the doorbell rings, but she calms down when people come around a lot quicker than she used to.
That's good. That's what doggos are supposed to do. All right.
Yeah.
So, people laugh at me, but I don't consider that one absolutely impossible. Our president is nothing if not unpredictable, and at least in some circles, a Hovind pardon could be viewed as a strike at the deep state. Really?
Actually, I will say, one of the few things that I think has been not terrible about Trump is that he has actually been fairly open to arguments about cases where I really do think there's a good reason to pardon people, and he has actually issued a fair few pardons that I think were pretty reasonable.
Why does this guy look like Patrick Warburton?
Maybe it is. I mean, that looks like Sylvester Stallone on Trump's, his
Oh my God, yeah, that actually might be, yeah. Oh, maybe it is.
It is.
Yeah, that's the thing. It could actually be. So that's one of the things. Celebrities have had good success getting Trump to issue pardons. That's like one of the things that Kanye did all the times he was wearing those MAGA hats and visiting the White House was securing pardons for African Americans who were in prison for really stupid crimes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, some of those were legitimate. It's just what's not legitimate is the way they came about, not whether or not they're.
Well, right. Like, I'm not saying everything about this is great, but
at least
Trump has issued some good pardons that I
take the good that you can get.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's
maybe if you praise him if you praise him more and more for doing good things, he'll do more good things because he wants the praise.
I mean, he is pretty damn conceited, so yeah, hopefully.
Paul John Hanson, on the other hand, is focused on litigation, with this being the second suit filed within the last year. I covered the first one here. Whatever. You can get a fuller course in Hanson School of Law in this video from last year when Kent speaks with both Byram and Byram. Byram and Hanson. In the video...
You need to send me the link to that, by the way.
You want this video?
To watch that at some point. Yeah, that DM me that link or something, and because yeah, I need that because I did not know this existed.
Okay. In the video, when it comes to damages, Hanson estimates that Hovin. I'll send the link to you later. That Hovin should get between 30 million and 60 million. I guess the stakes have been raised to 536.
Goodness. Well, so I've heard those numbers tossed around by not just Hovin, but sort of people more loosely associated with the CSE before the criminal case. And those are the kinds of numbers that I've seen tossed around as like about the value of the property seized if you were.
Oh, okay. So so he's suing for the property essentially, not like whatever tax money.
You could also say, plus the time in jail, like what he would have made. Now, one of the things though that makes
he wouldn't make anything. He said that he was living in poverty.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But the thing is that the property values get a little tricky because Hovin never filed building permits and never had his original Dinosaur land, as far as I know, inspected to see if it was up to code. So it's actually not clear that that's actually the real value of the land, because even if you had managed to waive the building permits and get it, it's not clear that it would have passed inspection.
Right, so if you were to take out all those fees,
if you had put this on the market, it's probably the case that anyone who bought it would have had to demolish literally every structure on that site.
Yeah, that would be a safe assumption, yeah.
So
that's pricey.
Yeah. It's iffy to even say that that's reasonable.
How not to pick what? Really? Advisors. How not to pick advisors. Also noted in the video is what a poor job Kent's lawyer did for him in 2006. As noted, Alan Stewart Ritchie is one of the defendants in this complaint. This brings up something a bit odd about who Hovin relies on for his advice. Okay, so to be fair, I'm willing to bet this lawyer probably didn't do a very good job because Kent Hovin basically told him to do it his way or fuck off.
It's hard to say for certain, in the background, because I don't think that any of that private conversation has come out, but yeah, probably.
One of the things that Kent mentions sometimes about his 2015 prosecution was that the property filings that sparked the prosecution were on the advice of a cellmate who was a legal genius. If they were a legal genius, why were they there? Yeah.
You know what? If someone's in prison, that's how you know they're a legal expert, because they ended up in prison.
Oh my god. Now he has litigation spearheaded by a co-defendant who was convicted when Kent wasn't. Is he going to get legal advice from Kyle next, or is Kyle going to get legal advice from Hovin?
How do you know that's not already happening? Right? Maybe that's the person who's been telling Kyle to be a moron.
Oh my god. Maybe if we ever get a hold of some of that stuff, we might actually find out.
Kyle and Kent have talked before. I've seen it.
It's true.
I was there.
Thanks, Jens, for becoming a new member. Enjoy your emotes. Puck in the chat.
Yes.
Or a cheering goblin in the chat. Ah! All right. One of my accomplishments that I take just a bit of pride in was passing all 4 parts of the CPA exam on the first sitting. Back in the day, about 15% of people who sat for the exam achieved that. One of the things I did not do was take advice from people who had lots and lots of experience taking the exam because they had, failed.
Oh, ouch. That's a sick burn right there.
I am enjoying this writer. I would love to bring them on to talk about this kind of stuff at some point, because that's...
Yeah, originally the blurb, I was like, that's an odd blurb, but this guy is winning me over. I'm a fan.
The touching part.
Oh, that's iffy. We demonetized.
Yeah. Hovin's affidavit discussing the amount of damages kind of tugs at the heartstrings, along with a bit of TMI.
I used to say don't go there, but that's lame.
An example of the latter is that he and his then wife Jo were both virgins when they were married in 1973, which precedes the account of her being arrested at gunpoint and not being allowed to get properly dressed. Oh, Kent Hovind quote, do we want to switch this back to Bent now? 2, then 2, then 2, then 2?
Due to her being terrorized by the entire ordeal, she stopped writing me or visiting me in prison. Upon my release from prison, she made me sleep in a separate room until she filed for divorce.
Very well done.
Yeah, it's definitely not because you completely fucked her over.
Oh my goodness.
That's unrelated.
Well, and okay, who in the world wants to know Kent Hovind's sexual history?
I have a question.
Seriously.
Nobody.
I have a question. Why in the hell does them being virgins in the 70s have anything to do with her getting arrested at gunpoint when they got arrested?
In the 2000s, right.
Yeah.
I have trouble imagining a point of time in which the federal government is going to treat you differently because they suspect you might not have been a virgin before you were married.
What?
I can't even. And look, here's the thing, right? If you want to save yourself till marriage, that's great. Go for it. Have fun.
Sure.
But
don't have fun, I guess.
I guarantee you, the federal government does not care.
Right? Why?
Like they don't.
I'm just drinking water right now. I finished my teas. Then he goes on about being alienated from his son and daughter. Oh, poor them. The one that you beat? They have not brought the grandkids up to visit in Lennox in the last 5 years, probably because it's dangerous for children. Even though it is just 70 miles away, and they don't invite him down to, Pensacola? Ah, okay. Pensacola. Yeah. I have no doubt.
So
this
he's
is just him
currently
just bitching about his family.
Eric Hovind, which might be a different episode. So, clearly, Eric and Kent's daughter, and Kent's other son, by the way, Kent Jr., who never gets talked about, because there are some allegations that Kent Hovind's neglect of his son, Kent Jr., resulted in his disabilities, including developmental delays. Yeah, no one talks about that guy. But if you dig deep enough, you'll find that he's actually still associated with Eric Hovind, and he does cinematography work for Eric Hovind's.
Oh, that's nice. People probably don't want to talk about that too much because, you don't want to throw somebody under the bus like that, right? You don't want to you don't want to put Kent Jr. in a bad spot just because you want to rip on Kent Hovind. That's... Yeah,
I wouldn't either.
Right. And I would assume that's probably one of the reasons why it doesn't get talked about too much. And unless they wanted to come forward and talk about it, that would be fine. And I'm sure people would be more than happy to hear that out. I mean, they'd always be welcome here. Hell, Eric would be welcome here if he wanted to talk about this. Not that he should because of legal stuff,
Eric,
but...
I'd have Eric on my channel. Eric seems like a friendly and personable enough guy, right? He's not like Kent Hovind or Nephilim Free who were just rude.
I totally read him as a preppy douche, but not in a bad person kind of way, if you know what I mean.
Right. He's nice to people. If you saw, did you see the discussion that he had with Paulo Gia?
When was that?
It was earlier this year, so since it's 2020, I guess that means it was 4 years ago. But it was a few months ago. You can find it.
I don't think I saw it, but that sounds interesting.
Places, a thing. But yeah, so they had a nice, polite conversation where Eric Hovind actually listened to the things that Paul said and tried to address them, unlike anything Kent ever does.
Right. I mean, yeah, he definitely does do better. We have talked to him and to Sai about being on shows with us in the future, such as Non Sequitur episodes and stuff. But moving on, I have no doubt of Kent Hovind's sincerity here. Yeah, none of his family wants to talk to him. I wonder why. But I have to say he might reflect that perhaps the alienation might have a lot to do with how he has behaved post-release. I touched a bit on that when I met up with Eric Hovind last year. Opening that up on the side. Oh my god,
yeah, I'm interested to at least see what that says.
Next step, Hovind critic Robert Batty. Oh god. Oh no, not this guy again. Gave me a heads up on the most recent development in the case. U.S. Magistrate Judge Hope Ty Cannon has issued an order for them to get moving on serving the defendants with notice. So Kent said that they do this, but they haven't been served. The first step is to prepare summons to go to the clerk for signature. They need to do that by next week. Oh, this has been out for a while, so maybe there's an update. This stuff is pretty routine, but it can be a little tricky. I really hope the case does not fall apart early from not following through on administrative steps.
That actually wouldn't surprise me if that's what happened, like at all, because, yeah.
Oh, God. Comments. I can't... Oh, somebody's asking, wait, what did I miss? Uh-oh. Sorry, no, that's side 10. Comments. I can usually get something from Kent's advisor, Ernie Land, but he has not gotten back to me yet. Michelle Heldemeyer, one of the defendants, wrote to me. The suit will be dismissed quickly for a number of deficiencies. Hovind has been trying to ruin my life for 15 years. Hasn't succeeded yet.
Oh, that is awesome.
Can I please get a cheer in the chat for that lady?
Yes, that was oh man, Michelle, wonderful response. Just perfect.
I couldn't get anything for attribution from my legal brain trust, but their off-the-record comments indicate that the case is pretty hopeless.
Oh, you mean Kent Hovind might have a low chance of getting $536 million? Who'd have thought?
As far as I can tell, there has been no media coverage. Those folks that marry Toko? Okay, yes, Kent's second wife characterizes as the, quote, obsessed internet fanatics dedicated to revealing to the world their perception of Kent Hovind as fraud and con artist, end quote. On Robert Batty's Kent Hovind's worst nightmare are sure to be chatting about the case. The reason is that's his Twitter handle, yeah.
One quick thing. Mary Toko is Kent Hovind's, it's not just Kent Hovind's second wife, it's Kent Hovind's second ex-wife.
Oh.
Kent Hovind is now on wife number 3, and if recent developments on modern day debate are to be trusted, Kent Hovind is about to move on to Kent Hovind's wife number 3, Erica, the Gutsick Gibbon.
Wait.
And if you haven't seen that, there was so Erica recently got engaged to her longtime boyfriend, and
congratulations to her, of course.
Yes, congratulations. But when James announced that on the channel, they then put a picture of her engagement photo, but with Kent Hovind's face photoshopped over her fiance's face. It was one of the most hilarious things I've seen in a while. So
props to James. That was
an epic trolling.
One of Kent's more fanciful claims is that Batty, who retired from the IRS, has been called out of retirement to harass him. At the risk of offending the group again, I will repeat the ways in which I admire Kent Hovind. Okay, so Batty definitely goes after Kent really hard, but I don't think he's getting paid to do so, unless he's making videos and making revenue. But I haven't seen any videos by him. I just see Facebook and really poorly put together blog posts. The blog is just ugly. I'm sorry, your layout, fix your layout.
I will say Robert Batty seems to be
obsessed,
strangely obsessed with Kent Hovind in a way that goes far beyond doing a weekly show where we drink.
Right, yeah, you guys drink and have a good time while watching his previous videos. You guys aren't actively going after him or picking apart every single thing he's saying currently. You're not. You're talking about science and facts. You're not being douchebags. Bent, do you think you're being a douchebag?
No, I'm just trying to understand Kent, which is
it's difficult.
Probably a bad idea. I probably shouldn't try. Somehow I found myself on Kent with Bent. Such a weird coincidence that my name is Benthoven.
No relation.
Is there?
That's why I started watching Kent.
Have you gleaned any insight from when you started doing Kent with Bent to now?
Yeah, I have to take small sips when it's time to drink because we have to drink a lot.
No, about Kent's, not about your drinking habits.
That's the only insight I've achieved.
He's getting insight into him. It's turned into self-reflection instead of.
Kent Hovind is inscrutable, but Benthoven's bladder is not.
I keep waiting for him to just stop being crazy.
Oh no, you're gonna.
It's never gonna happen. I don't know why I expect it to happen.
He has a very strong work ethic and a determination to live a purpose-driven life. Much of the counsel he gives people about how to live their lives is good counsel. Work hard, avoid drugs and alcohol, focus on worthwhile things rather than entertainment.
You know what?
That seems reasonable.
I'll give that to Kent, yeah. He's definitely a big fan of, don't be an alcoholic, don't, ruin your life with drugs. Find something that you can do that makes you money and work at it, and don't spend all of your time and money watching stupid movies. And you know what?
Or watching Kent Hovind, maybe.
Well, don't put up with any crap from your kids. If you have to beat them, beat them.
Well, isn't that maybe not that all part, you guys actually do on Bet with parts, Kent, though?
You know what? Yeah, it's not the worst advice. If you follow Kent Hovind's advice, you probably won't have a miserable life.
Isn't that what you guys do on Bent with Kent, though? Or Kent with Bent? You sit around, drink, and watch entertainment.
It is, but Kent Hovind does say don't drink at all, but he doesn't
it's in moderation.
Say don't. Well, he's a teetotaler. Kent Hovind is one of those don't drink at all types, but if we take the more mild form where there's don't be an alcoholic, drink in moderation and don't go overboard with the entertainment, I would actually say that Kent with Bent more or less follows that guideline in the case where it's okay, it's a night where I drink and have fun, but the other nights, I'm not drinking like that any other night of the week. I'm not spending nearly any of my time just watching things for the fun of it.
Well, then, and plus it's Kent with Bent is still work.
Well, also, yeah, I do actually earn money off of Kent with Bent, so it's a little bit of a hybrid work / entertainment. And I'll be honest, there are weeks where I'm okay, I have to do Kent with Bent, and I have to let's get it, because sometimes I'm just oh my god, Kent Hovind is driving me crazy right now. But
I do it for free.
You do it for free.
And I don't drink alcohol either.
But also, the days that you get off from Kent with Bent, I don't.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know if we want to talk about Bent getting off to Kent with Bent, to Kent.
No, I don't. Oh yeah, I did say front. That still works. Okay, the days that you have where you don't have to be on Kent with Bent, like this week and next week, right. I don't get to not be there. I still have other stupid stuff that I have to deal with.
Yeah, but it's not Kent, though.
Are you guys really gonna have a pissing contest about who has to deal with stupid things? Because I feel like you're bringing some limp dick to my party.
I'm just saying, I do it for free.
He does do it for free. And all I'm saying is, it's not all fun and games. It is actual, effort goes into this, right? I have to be careful, stay on the ball, keep reasonable objections going.
As you get more and more drunk.
While alcohol is fun, it also fights against, in some ways, the degree to which I can be accurate in my criticisms. So I have to carefully balance that to actually be reasonably insightful. So when I'm done with it, there's a reason I usually do gaming streams. It's because I'm tired and I want to relax.
Yeah. So we've got a Kent quote coming up when you're ready, Ben. I greatly enjoyed my visit to Dinosaur Adventureland last year, which including riding shotgun in an all-terrain vehicle with Doc Dino at the wheel.
Awesome.
I don't think I would feel safe. I think that young Earth's creationism is generally a pretty harmless delusion. I don't know if we would agree with that.
Most of the time, yeah.
When I realized it was Paul Hanson I had run into earlier in the visit, I had a bad feeling. The advice of the visit still stands.
So visit Dinosaur Adventureland and have a good time. It might be wise to go for the grandma tour. Just to be kind. Try to be kind and capture what is worth appreciating. Just don't go there for tax and legal advice. And also, if you're a kid, wear a life jacket.
Oof. Big oof.
It's okay, we're getting there.
I also want to point out one quick thing. So recently, Kent Hovind had a video where he defended himself against the various rumors going around that he was getting daily massages from up to 3 young women.
Oh?
And the excuse that he gave was that he had a fracture in his spine. I'm just going to go ahead and say, if you have a fracture, you're not giving the quote-unquote real tour of Dinosaur Adventureland, which involves intense off-roading on an ATV.
Okay.
If you have a fracture in your spine, you shouldn't let anyone who's not a trained medical person be like putting their hands all over your back and pushing it on it.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's just a really bad idea.
Yeah, but
How
I do
young
want to
is
point out that
young
his response to, oh, you're getting sexy massages from 3 young ladies wasn't, no, I'm not. It was, I have a broken spine, so it's okay.
Okay. Based on recent incident, which is easy to find out about, but I am leaving alone. Keep a close eye on any kids you bring along.
Oh, I'm not going to leave it alone. He let a kid.
That's the end.
A kid drowned in one of the ponds on Dinosaur Adventureland.
Yeah. That's not
straight up died. And Kent Hovind's response was to complain about Robert Batty reporting on it on Twitter.
Oh, don't worry. His siblings will come back. They had a good time.
Yeah, he also said that. He was like, oh yeah, his siblings had a great time and they can't wait to come back. But you know what, Peter J. Reilly?
One of those kids is never leaving.
Yeah. This guy has been... You know what? I haven't read anything else by you, but if this is the quality of your work, sir, I salute you.
So I've been a CPA for over 30 years focusing on taxation. I have excessive experience with partnerships, real estate, and high net worth individuals. My ideology can be summed up as, oh wait, there's a read more button. Okay. Can be summarized at least metaphorically by this quote. Quote, should we read it as Ken Hovind?
Oh yeah, we should.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it me or...
I have a total irreverence for anything connected with society, except that which makes the road safer. The beer stronger, the food cheaper, and the old men and old women warmer in the winter, and the happier in the summer.
Very good.
Well done.
Brendan Bayan
anyway?
Nobody?
That's not Kent Hovind.
Oh,
No.
Brendan Bayan. There needs to be a period here. Please fix that. I thought this was the whole name. Nobody I work for has any responsibility for what goes into this blog, and you should make no inference that they approve of it or have even read it. Okay, I like this. I like this guy.
Yes, agreed. This guy is a lot of fun.
So if anybody is interested in any of more of his stuff, maybe people should make him aware about Kyle's certain tax situation with non sequitur. It might be something worth looking into.
That would be an interesting thing for him to write about.
That would be very interesting. I would read that. So links there. I will also put the link in the description to the original article as well as this description. We'll see you later, Warped. So we do have this article that was looked at, which was one of the people said they had sat down with Eric, and then we also have this filmmakers one, which I think we'll save for another time. But we also have another article written by this guy that is not as long, and it's Kent Hovind's $500 million lawsuit legal analysis. But do we really want to read
we have to talk about the dinosaur first.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So far, I like this. The dew claw on the foot seems a little small, but the eye doesn't have a pupil. That's a bit of a problem. One thing I do kind of like, though, is the somewhat speculative breathing tube on the tongue, because that's a pretty common thing in diapsids, that, as far as we know. It's not clear if it's the case in all dinosaurs, but it does occur in a lot of birds. So I appreciate that as a speculative but very reasonable addition. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, what about feathers? Look, whether or not T-Rex had feathers, very much up in the air. And so I do not criticize on the basis of some or no feathers. So
yet, until we get more information one way or the other.
Yeah, this is like a 9.5 out of 10 for dinosaur reconstructions.
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
Independent Baptist minister and young Earth creationist Kent Hovind, Dr. Dino. I enjoy that this person has never called Kent Doctor, by the way. He's used Dr. Dino, but he's never once called Kent Dr. Kent Hovind.
Oh, that reminds me. Do we want to talk about our idea about Kent
at the
Hovind's
end?
University?
Save that for the end. We will talk about that.
Okay.
Save it for the end.
Okay.
Dr. Dino has been loudly and publicly promising to sue the United States government. Whatever. Never mind. United States for what he considers unjust imprisonment and theft of his property for many years. When he actually pulled the trigger, though, he was quiet about it. Now that he has gone public, I think it would be good to address some of the arguments he made. This will be the first installment. First, the background. At the enemy camp. I learned of the lawsuit from a Facebook site, Kent Hovind's Worst Nightmare, bracket nightmare. Nightmare is when where you will find what Mary, how do you say the name again? Toko, Kent's second and now estranged wife, and now divorced.
He now has a third.
Calls the, quote, obsessed party of internet fanatics who invest an impractical amount of time and focus dedicated to revealing the world their perception of Kent as a fraud and con artist. That seems like a little bit of a silly goal since he was already convicted and already served his time.
Yeah. He is a convicted fraud.
Yeah. Why do you need to expose that? It's already, to me, that's common knowledge, and it's easily accessible. I feel like there wouldn't really be... The only work you would have to do is, Kent has a pretty solid following, so all you would need to do is make those people aware, but you wouldn't have to find anything else that he's done. You wouldn't have to be, skimming through his shit, because it's already there. Is that just me?
No, I think you're right, although, I think there's some value to the idea of collating all that data and making it easily accessible, which I don't know if that's what they're doing on the Facebook group.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if that is, then I can see the value in that. Yeah,
I can see that. All right, I have to say that I find Miss Toko's evaluation of the party harsh but fair. Ooh.
Oh, fair
Robert
enough.
Batty alerted me to the filing. I think there are others involved, but he seems to be the prime mover behind Nightmare. Kent has a tendency to refer to his critics, other than those who have deserted him, as atheists. Batty is not an atheist, but rather a Christian who has a problem with young Earth creationism. Batty is a retired IRS agent, and Kent maintains that, he's like a pre-subber. Kent maintains that Batty has been called out of retirement to get Hovind. I find that accusation highly implausible. My evaluation of Robert Batty is that you should never underestimate a cranky old man with a couple of obsessions, an internet connection, and time on his hands when he's not watching the grandchildren.
I mean, fair, right? Fair enough.
Okay, if I was Mr. Batty, I would take that and I would have that as my tag on Twitter. That would be the description of me in quotes with this guy's name at the end. That's beautiful. I love that. That's so good. If somebody wrote something like that about me, I would totally do that.
Oh, man.
Breaking the story. At any rate, Batty's heads up me that... What?
That's a weird phrase.
At any rate, Batty's heads up me the gives me the opportunity, or gave me the opportunity to break the there's a word missing in there, to break the story, which seems to have prompted Kent to go public about the case, starting at around is this broken? Yeah, it's broken. Using my article as a jumping off point. He referenced the story the next day in a video starting at around 1 minute and 30 seconds.
That dinosaur adventure?
Yeah.
The stuff for the ministry. William and Aaron both have said they want to come and stay here, work full-time at the ministry. Yay. All in favor of that, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. The ayes are above the nose. Okay. All right.
Oh, bad joke.
Oh,
Aaron.
That's the arc we just watched.
No. Peter Reilly.
Yeah.
did an article for Forbes magazine about our case. He's been following my case and has written some good, some bad things about it. He said, Kent Hovind sues U.S. government for $500 million. That is correct. Okay, the suit has been filed and accepted, and now they have to deal with the questions in the suit. They enhanced my sentence for structuring from 0 to 6 months, which is what structuring normally carries, and since I'd never been in trouble with the law, should have been nothing. The judge said, your case is worse than rape. I'm enhancing this to 10 years. Then the worse than rape part got deleted from the transcript. Somebody altered my trial transcript. Yeah. Okay, anyway.
Who was that in the back?
Okay, come on.
Solid.
Oh my god. That's just
hi, Helios.
amazing.
I can't.
I don't even know what... okay, like evidence or evidence for GTFO, basically.
How would you prove that, though?
Well, the only way you could is if there's an audio recording. And here's the thing, like, is it impossible that happened? No. Oh, wait. The lawyers thought THOT? Look at the screen for the video. Kent Hovind used THOT for thought. So the lawyers, so the better way to interpret this is lawyers, he missed an apostrophe, so it's the lawyer's thought. Like THOT.
Like it belongs to the lawyer.
Yes, that's the thought that belongs to
Wow.
Oh, love it. And here's the other thing that tells me, this is supposed to be a quote or something. So I think Kent Hovind doesn't know how to use Control-C, Control-V. So.
All right, let's.
Okay, do you think Kent Hovind knows what a thought is?
No.
I don't think so either, but it's still hilarious.
He has a lot of time on the internet, so I feel like he must have heard it before.
No, he doesn't. Steve, his tech guy, has a lot of time on the internet.
Oh,
Kent Hovind spends virtually no time on the internet.
Oh, yeah, that seems like something... Okay, so if there's a buffer, that's something that would probably not make it through the filter. Like, I wouldn't get to him then.
But see, I don't think there's a buffer for the slides. I just think that Steve, his internet guy, is like a buffer for like live streaming and telling Kent Hovind
but
where
like the comment section and stuff like that. Like, I feel like he probably only gets comments that are given to him. So, I mean, to be fair, there's probably nobody out there calling Kent Hovind a thought, even though he kind of is.
Is he?
Kind of.
Maybe.
Okay, so let's play a couple more seconds of this and see what else he has to say.
So I was arrested on July 13th and released on July 8th. I think that's near enough to call it 9 years. Trial didn't end till November 2nd when I went to prison, but I was under house arrest. I'd had to report every time they called me after July 8th when they arrested me. Anyway, so the lawyers thought it would be appropriate to enhance the demands for damages from normal 30-40 million to 500 million.
That's a pretty...
I'm going to get a new windshield for the van.
That's a big enhancement.
First thing, and new shoes, second thing.
That's
so
far more ambitious than any of the enhancement offers I've had in emails.
Hold up, did you catch what he said? He's going to get a new windshield for the van, new shoes.
Haven't decided after that.
Those will be some pretty nice shoes.
Right? $400 shoes? $400 Hawaiian shirt?
he'll have a gold thread Hawaiian shirt.
Maybe I will become a regular after the usual lead. Quote.
Oh, is it my turn or Ben's turn?
I think Ben's on it, man.
All right, I'll go for it. We believe the Bible is true and that the earth is about 6,000 years old. God made man and everything else in 6 days. Dinosaurs lived with man, and evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the history of the world.
Kent had a comment about the coverage. Quote.
He's been following us, my case, and has written some good, some bad things about us.
There you go. That's the clip we watched. In the second video, Kent encourages his viewers to look at Forbes and keep an eye on it. It is amazing how often he and I are on the same wavelength.
Not something you want to admit necessarily, but okay.
I mean, hey, if Kent wants to shout this video out, I'm not about to complain. The verified complaint. There are a couple of arguments that Kent has emphasized in the two videos, but the one that seems to have him in him in its grip the most is the verified complaint. In the first video above, Kent discusses at great length with the legal brains behind the effort, Paul John Hanson. What is extraordinary to me is not so much the confidence that they have that they are right.
That is extraordinary.
It is the seeming total assurance that they will prevail. So it's not like, hey, listen, I understand. I'm not that surprised that they think they're correct, but I'm surprised by how much they think they're going to succeed. I feel like you could say that about a certain group of people and the Non Sequitur Showcase, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels in this. Weird.
Wait, are you saying that some people are the Kent Hovind of the Non Sequitur Showcase?
Oh, maybe. Or the Paul John Hanson.
Which one's worse?
And maybe the baddie. Or maybe baddie's the baddie in both. I don't know at this point. I haven't been paying attention. I was gone for a week. I don't know what's going on.
I remember you asked me what had happened, and I told you what had happened as far as I knew, and it covered maybe a tenth of what happened.
TLDR. What is extraordinary to me is not... Kent explains the verified complaint argument with one of his sports analogies. Under Paul John Hanson's law, there must be a verified complaint in order for a grand jury to consider an indictment. They have asked the clerk of the court for a copy of the verified complaint. There is not one. Yeah. So under Hanson law, that means that even though federal prosecutors hit a home run with Kent's 2006 conviction, long sentence, and property forfeiture, which was upheld on appeal, it was all for naught because they failed to touch first base as they rounded it.
Yeah, so
right.
I've looked at a little bit into this, and basically the verified complaint, according to Kent's and his idea, is that you need a victim to come forward and say that, oh, this is the complaint I'm bringing against the defendant, this is the crime they committed against me. And basically, no, that's not how it works. If, in fact, you're committing a crime against the federal government, they don't need a particular person to come forward as your victim. They can just prosecute you for crimes against the federal government. Now, if you have philosophical objections, that's fine, but I guarantee you the federal government does not care.
Well, the federal government would be the person coming forward with the complaint.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is there are philosophical arguments to be had as to whether or not they are a valid victim in certain cases. But it doesn't matter as far as they are concerned.
Helios42 said, never underestimate the foolhardiness of idiots. No plan is foolproof to a sufficiently talented fool. Asking some experts. I was a little skeptical about the verified complaint argument, but everything I know about criminal procedure I learned from watching Law & Order. So I reached out to my legal brain trust and found two attorneys who would comment. One of them, Peter Goldberger, is on the record. One of them is not on the record, but he is very credible, so I will call him McCoy. Hey, good name.
I should have called him Bones.
He did. Mr. Goldberger's law office focuses on, quote, appeals and other post-conviction aspects of federal criminal cases, including sentencing and Supreme Court petitions, end quote. If, God forbid, I ever got in the sort of trouble that requires that sort of thing, I would call Mr. Goldberger a long time before I call Hanson. This is what he told me about the verified complaint argument. Why the argument won't get in the ballpark. The verified complaint argument was used not in the most recent complaint, but in the one that was filed back in November to reverse the conviction, which failed because the court no longer had jurisdiction. I covered that here. Mr. Goldberger first told me about some problems with the current complaint, independent of the merits of the, quote, verified complaint argument. There are procedural obstacles. Quote, who wants to read the quote from the legal case as if they're Kent Hovind?
I'll do it. 1. Section 1983 and its jurisdictional provision, Section 1343 of Title 28, apply to unconstitutional actions committed by state and local officials, not federal. This complaint is against federal government officials. 2. Suits against federal judges and federal prosecutors for their official actions are barred by absolute immunity. 3. Suits against federal law enforcement officers are barred by qualified immunity if they acted reasonably and in good faith. 4. No federal constitutional claim lies against a private criminal defense lawyer who is considered a private actor, not a state actor. 5. All claims based on the asserted invalidity of the criminal convictions are barred by collateral estoppel, as those convictions were or could have been challenged on appeal and were affirmed. 6. Any cause of action here is long since barred by the statute of limitations.
It sounds there, that coffee got going on sounds like you need some water.
Well, you know, one drop of water will cover your entire body if it's spread thin enough.
Yeah, and the entire planet too, right?
Why the argument would strike out. On the verified complaint argument, which we got another one coming up. Hope you're ready.
I'll take this one. Although it's, my goodness, is it long?
That's what she said. Go for it.
I'll do it anyway, but you have to get the next one because it seems also long.
On the verified complaint argument, which is most likely the court will never get to, Mr. Goldberger wrote, quote,
on the verified complaint, question the 2255 made 2 claims of this nature. One, that Hoven's arrest, the Fourth Amendment because the warrant was issued without probable cause. And 2, that the indictment was invalid because it was not supported by a sworn complaint and affidavit as supposedly required by Fedar Crim P9. 998. The first claim is wrong because the warrant, as he acknowledges, was issued on the basis of a return to indictment. An indictment cannot be issued except on probable cause to believe that a federal crime has been committed. So that supports issuance of an arrest warrant, considered with Fourth Amendment's probable cause requirement. The second complaint is on a simple misreading of Rule 9. The rule says that the court must issue a warrant or at the government's request, a summons for each defendant named in an indictment or named in information if one or more affidavits accompanying the information establish probable cause to believe that an offense has been committed and the defendant committed it. The requirement of an affidavit establishing probable cause, as you can see, only applies when charges are brought by information on the word of the U.S. attorney and not to cases prosecuted by indictment. For this precise reason that I already explained, that indictment from a properly constituted grand jury, the normal way to bring federal felony charges, as stated in the Fifth Amendment, is a conclusive evidence of probable cause. On top of that, a defect in the indictment or in the defendant's arrest is not jurisdictional and does not defeat the validity of a conviction. Any lack of probable cause or procedural error at the indictment stage is rendered moot by the defendant's subsequent conviction by a trial jury, based on proof beyond reasonable doubt and affirmed on appeal. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was very long.
Yes.
Yep. No, you deserve the applause. There's another 2 coming.
Ooh,
okay, hold on. I'm actually gonna leave what you just read because the outside chat couldn't see it for very long because I was showing.
What were you showing me?
I was showing you. So I am going to leave that up for a second. I'm actually gonna go get some water because this is gonna be another hot second. So I'll be right back. You guys entertain everybody. I believe in you.
All right, actually,
don't get me demon. Whatever, demon. Don't get my channel taken. No, you dare show 7 circles.
What?
I won't show any circles. But entertain people.
All right, guys. It's time to see the small version of me and the Rubik's Cube. Because, sorry, excuse me. I have to entertain you by solving a Rubik's Cube. That's all I can do. I can't play guitar right now because it's all the way over there behind Dapper Dino. So all you do is you just turn it a bunch of times, like a lot, until it's solved. But it takes a lot, so sometimes you just gotta twist it, rotate it. Oh, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's the Rubik's Cube Entertainment right now.
Oh, Bent, while doing Rubik's Cube, you should entertain everyone with your newly acquired and vast knowledge of Klingon Hole.
Klingon Hole. You have to ask questions that I can answer.
Bent.
I don't know how to say that.
Biyaj.
I don't know how to say that.
You don't know how to say Biyaj.
Biyaj. Are you? What does that mean? I don't know.
Do you understand?
No.
So Robert. There we go. Icarus is already drunk. I'm trending that way. So because this is Kenthoven, I felt like it required alcohol. So I'm on beverage nombre 3. That's French for three beverages. And now I kind of wish Chetch were still here because she speaks a bit of French.
Yeah, you guys could just show off your multiple languages. I'm barely learning Klingon. I mean, I'm learning it, but I barely know anything. But it's been, 2.5, 3 weeks?
Yeah. You're getting there. You're getting there. Yeah, look, you have other than me, you have the most experience on Duolingo and Klingon of any of the people who I'm following who are also taking Klingon by a huge margin.
And then when you're done, you just show it to people.
Nice.
That's it. That's all you do.
Well done.
I'm back.
I would have done a curtsy, but I'm already sitting down.
Oh, fair enough.
Are you wearing a skirt? Because without a skirt, the curtsy doesn't really work.
A kilt.
Crap, I'm not wearing anything.
Uh-oh. I mean, other than the top hat, a monocle, and a tie, I'm basically naked all of the time. So
I'm naked under all the clothes I'm wearing.
Ooh, hot.
Grand juries. I asked Mr. Goldberger to listen to the first video. Here is his reaction. Against my better judgment, I listened. Perhaps I should also mention, in addition to what I wrote last night, that before returning an indictment, the grand jury hears witnesses under oath and receives evidence to establish the required probable cause. Then it votes either to indict or decline. The grand jury does not just wake up some morning and vote an indictment without basis under oath, as Hovind contends. McCoy.
Oh, this is all you, Bent.
McCoy gave me a briefer answer that addresses it from a different angle. Quote,
There does not have to be a verified complaint when a case goes to the grand jury. The grand jury can start an investigation either nudged by the prosecutor, which is how it normally starts, or even started on the grand jury initiative. A complaint is something filed with the court. A verified complaint simply has to have someone verify the complaint under oath. Some federal criminal cases may initially be commenced by a complaint which must be verified, but all felony crimes require that the grand jury make a charge in an indictment.
Which, as noted above,
Hogan's criminal case was prosecuted by a grand jury indictment, which, as noted above, does not require a verified complaint.
There you go. Well done.
I plan on doing a piece on other aspects of the complaint and Hanson's overreaching legal views, but I figured I would address verified complaint argument first. Don't forget, guys, for anybody who has joined a little bit late, we have like a little announcement-y thing / proposition, as well as I want to show you guys a kind of a funny thing I made the other day. It's got a dick on it. Important distinction. I spoke with both Kent Hovind and his long-term friend and advisor, Ernie Land. They indicated that Paul Hanson would be calling me, but I have not yet heard from him. Much as I enjoy hearing his voice, I did not get anything from Kent that I did not already have from his videos, other than an even stronger sense of his belief in his cause. Ernie emphasized an important distinction. The other plaintiff in the complaint is Paul John Hanson, a trustee of Creation Science Evangelism. Yay! ESC.
Yeah, I got it.
I did it this time. a non-statutory trust. I will call that Old CSE. Old CSE is the entity involved in the original Dinosaur Adventureland in Pensacola. Old CSE was found to be an alter ego of Kent Hovind.
Surprise!
Shocked Pikachu face. Which is the source of much of his troubles. The new Dinosaur Adventureland in Repton, Alabama is owned by Creation Science Evangelism Ministries, Inc., which I will call New CSE. New CSE is a corporation recognized from inception by the IRS as a 501c3 organization and more recently recognized as a church. There is also a... Yep.
That means that Kent Hovind can learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
It's possible.
He corrected himself after going to jail over it. I mean, Kyle's gonna do the same thing, maybe.
All it takes is almost 9 years of incarceration, and then Kent Hovind can kind of get a clue.
There is also a separate for-profit corporation for the store and other profit-making aspects of the operation. So they actually set it up properly the second time.
And you know what? Hey, fair enough, right?
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah, good job. New CSE on the straight and narrow. Ernie tells me that the new CSE has a conventional tax attorney making sure that they are compliant with tax laws.
Oh, well, good job, Kent.
Wow.
As they are recognized in the mainstream.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, hey, once again, way to learn from your past mistakes.
If only he would learn when it comes to his wives. I mean, what?
How long do you think it'll take before he actually gets onto Mrs. Kent Hovind 4?
I don't know.
I don't think it'll take long, because Mary Toko did not last long.
I think it might have something to do with... I don't know. It's hard to say. Is he part of a sex cult yet?
Well, one of the tricky things is he didn't actually legally divorce Mary Toko.
Oh.
Legally, Mary Toko was still married to him, but he declared the marriage annulled because he said Mary Toko wasn't a Christian. And then he had a private, not legally recognized ceremony with a third woman.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so technically he's currently a bigamist.
Noted.
Yeah.
They also make sure that Kent is personally compliant with his 1040 obligation by some sort of power of attorney method that does not require Kent to compromise his principles.
Oh, well, good for you, Kent. Good for you.
Good job. According to Ernie, new CSE is in no way involved in the litigation. I got the interpretation that the new CSE board would be happier if Kent stayed with the creation message and exposing the lies of evolution.
The fact that lies isn't in quotation kind of hurts, but that's still a good line.
One thing I have learned about Kent over the years is that he is his own guy and pretty much considers himself accountable to his heavenly father and no one else.
Accurate.
Aww. That was a sweet thing to say about Kent right at the end.
Peter J. Reilly, I
like this guy.
Yeah. Well done, sir.
I hope I don't find anything horrible about him now that I've said that, because that's
yeah. Well, look, hey, you know what? Based on what we currently know, absolute genius author for this stuff. Well done.
And then they had some kind of talk with...
I mean, I wouldn't be super opposed to going over it. At least
I just don't know what this is about. I kind of want to look at it first and then...
Okay.
And then go from there. So I think for now that's going to be enough of the articles. So now we have like wrap-up-y type time of just chatting about whatever we think was relevant about what we just read.
Well, I mean, I think the most relevant thing is that his main complaint, as far as I can tell, from both the articles and watching his videos, is the verified complaint argument. Mm-hmm. Which just holds no water.
No water.
I love Ben's face there. Ben just dumbfounded by how awesome that was.
Water.
But yeah, that's the thing, is it's like, look, it's the same thing with all the sovereign citizen crap, right? Like, I do have a certain amount of sympathy for the sovereign citizens, on the most part, because I'm not a huge fan of the United States government for various reasons, some of which are the same as their reasons, some of which aren't. But I don't tend to get too political. But like, while I have some sympathy for their distrust and distaste of the government, all of their arguments are just monumentally stupid.
That's fair. I haven't really heard much of it. The thing isn't necessarily that their arguments themselves are that bad. It's that there's nothing to compensate for what, like, the giant holes they're going to put everywhere. It's like, I appreciate that you don't like this thing, and I can understand where you're coming from in not liking it, but if you don't have a solution or a replacement or some kind of workaround, if you don't have something that functions to take its place when you remove it, you're just putting a giant hole somewhere that's going to cause, like, so much problems.
Well, I would say, if their interpretation were treated seriously, it probably wouldn't result in, like, a collapse of all governance in the United States. It would then, it would just become much more like the sort of confederation of states that was probably more like what the United States was originally conceived as. So it probably wouldn't actually result in just the collapse of the United States as an entity. It would mean that federal power would be severely restricted to basically being nothing but united defense against foreigners, as well as settling interstate disputes. Which, I mean, that can work. Like, that's how the UAE works, basically. It doesn't become completely non-functional. But the problem that I find is that no one is going to ever take any of that seriously, because every single bit of U.S. legal precedent in history has contravened everything they're saying, and their entire argument comes basically down to, like, weird interpretations of, like, 16th century British maritime law. And no one, not even the British, give a shit about 16th century maritime law. So there's just nothing there. Bent? Got anything?
No.
No? Well,
no.
Chesh, do you want to go into our idea about Kent Hovind's university?
I threw something up on the Go Live. If you want to take a look real quick. You want to tell us who that is?
Oh, yes! That is Jason Lyle, a noted astrophysicist and apparently meteorologist, who is leading to us the importance of the gigantic penis covering the Midwest and Northeast of the United States. Oh, but it's not just a penis, though. There's a scrotum involved, so it's getting serious, guys.
I don't know what you're talking about. Those are obviously weather patterns.
Well, they might be. Well, that doesn't make them not a penis.
So we should, let's talk about our little idea. I just wanted to show that off because I was kind of proud of it.
It was I mean, you should be. It's hilarious. I love it. Okay, so...
so hear me out.
Yeah, okay, so Kent Hovind got his, quote, PhD from Patriot Bible University, right? The trailer, I don't remember where it is, but it's basically a double-wide trailer.
It looks like a, what's it called? One of those little, what are they called? I feel like it starts with a P. They put portables. They're called portables in Canada.
Portable
they're like
homes?
little. They're just called portables, and some of them are used as home, like far north, because you can't dig down to make any kind of foundation. So they're built up, and they're put on top. But they also use them in schools when that year the school happens to need like one extra class. So they just throw a portable in and then do that until they have enough portables to build a new wing.
They call them trailers. Because you can haul them on a truck.
Fair enough.
Okay, yeah, it does look like one of those.
Sorry, side note.
Yeah, no, I mean, and hey, you know what? Technically, that's not a valid criticism for the academic credentials. What is a valid criticism for the academic credentials is that they are not credentialed by any organization for credentialing universities that is generally recognized as valid. And they do not follow academic standards with their postdoctorate degree program. I also found out that the approximate price of a prepaid PhD from Patriot Bible University is $2,000 US. That is not a completely unreasonable sum to acquire, and
that's really cheap for a PhD.
Right. Well, it depends. Some people are actually paid to get their PhD if they do enough work for the university.
Yeah, not including indentured servitude to work off the like right. not including washing dishes for your meal.
But I said to Chesh, because she had made a joke about getting a degree in psychology. So I said, wouldn't it be interesting if we got you enrolled for a PhD from Patriot Bible University for a PhD course in Christian psychology? Because they don't seem to have any clear, like, these are the courses and degrees that we offer. They seem like they'll just be willing to kind of make up a degree name on whatever you want, as long as you submit like the things you want to quote study. So we were talking about.
Would people get mad at me if I wrote my thesis and started with "Hi, I'm Cheshire"?
I wouldn't. But here's the other thing. There's some indication that Kent Hovind's thesis actually was written long after he'd been issued his PhD.
Right.
So it's not actually even clear
Hi,
they were
I'm Dr.
required to make
Dino.
a PhD. So what I think would be fun is if we managed to raise $2,000 to prepay for a PhD, because then we could actually like show online, live on YouTube, the kind of work that Kent Hovind went through to get a PhD from this university. Because I guarantee you it is not going to be up to the academic rigor of a legitimate PhD from an accredited university.
Hello, my name is Cheshire Vic. I'm 17.
That needs to be in your thesis.
That needs to be in my admission essay. Can I please come to your school?
I'll be honest. The fact that they offer prepaid PhDs makes me think there is no admission essay.
Right.
Like, I don't think there is one. I don't know.
Well, we're going to try and find out if you guys are interested.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, let us know, let me know on my, like, community tab and comments or whatever, and let Chesh know here if that's a thing you would be interested in following. Because,
because we'll set up, like, what would we set up, a GoFundMe?
Yeah, probably a GoFundMe. And the thing is, you probably couldn't use Cheshire as your
No, I would have to use my name.
Your actual name or whatnot.
Yeah, what I would probably do is put the fundraiser with Cheshire, and then put the like the whatever I have to submit paperwork would be actually would go to them. Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's easy enough to blur that out in like YouTube videos and stuff when you upload like screenshots and whatnot. So, but their courses are all by correspondence. Now, one thing is, I think they might actually charge additional shipping for shipping to Canada, but it probably wouldn't be a lot. We can find that out. Yeah, and the other thing is, like, even if that's the case, it probably wouldn't be a huge amount. And even if it is a huge amount, we could probably have it shipped to, like, me or Bent, and, like, it's not like we can't get that information to you. Right. So, I mean, push comes to shove, you could use one of our addresses if the shipping costs are prohibitive. So we could essentially live stream the entire course of getting a PhD from Kent School, and I think that would be absolutely hilarious. I think that would be amazing. So guys, go and bother like some of the bigger YouTubers. So like go to Steve's channel, go to like Reds' channel, go to FTFE's channel, go to the other people that do creationists channels, and see if we can get people worked up to actually like potentially do this. So let us know. Go to Dapper's channel, let him know there. Go to my channel. Ben's got a channel. Go to him. I own a channel, yes. Technically, sure. We need to get 10K so we can get you 5 doctorates. That'd be so good. You know, if we raise 10K, I want one of those doctorates. I want a doctorate in Christian paleontology from
from Patriot.
I want a doctorate in Christian cytotechnology.
Nice.
Okay, so
Christian cells.
So here's what we need to do to be okay. We'll start off with one. We'll start with one, and then we'll go from there, and we'll see where we get. If we get enough to get more than one, we will start. We can start spreading that around. So chat, one in the chat if that's something that you think we should do or that you would be willing to donate to. Two in the chat if you think this is an awful idea and how dare we even suggest this.
Chess, did you just make that? Because that's awesome.
I didn't know. TD Lane made it.
Oh, well, okay. Absolutely perfect, TD Lane. I love it.
I swallowed my water wrong.
having a thought, THOT, on a Kent Hovind slide, it might be the highlight of like 2020 for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind that you would also be getting be getting updates and live streams of me doing the coursework. So you would actually get to. Yes. I'll do most of the work, or as much of the work as I can, live, so people can see it. So it's not gonna be like. We can maybe answer some of I might even allow for chat to pick, like, oh, hey, you have to write an essay on this. Chat, tell me what subject we should write it about.
And by the way, I'm seeing a bunch of ones and no twos. So it seems like this is something people are interested in.
Yeah. We should say, you know what we should say? 69 if you want it to happen.
Oh, it's too late though. But
it's true.
I mean, Hawkskull did send a 69 anyway.
The thing is like Hawkskull's always with the 69, and Hawkskull is 100% right that it shouldn't be 1 or 2. It should be 69 or 420.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Actually, I like that.
Yeah.
It might not work out for my Dapper Dino streams, but it might work out for Top Hats Off.
Works out over here.
Yeah, well, it works out. Well, I mean, like I said, Cheshire Vix's streams are they're X-rated because of the ridiculous amount of circles that occasionally appear.
Right. I also have a question. If I get this PhD, like if I succeed, does my IQ go up or down? Because I'm already struggling at that 62, 63, depending on whether or not my glasses are on.
Yeah, it's 63 when you have the glasses on, which you do now. So congrats.
Yeah.
But here's what I would say. Any platform that has ever referred to Kent Hovind as Dr. Hovind that you appear on, you should insist that they refer to you as Dr. Cheshire. Because you have a PhD from the same university.
I am Dr. Chesh.
Yes.
So, I am the Dr. Goblin Queen.
Here's the thing.
Does that make me
Where
a shaman?
am I wrong on that?
No, you're not.
You did the exact same thing that Kent Hovind did. You went to Patriot University or Patriot Bible University and got a PhD. You are just as much a doctor as he is, which is to say, not at all. But if they're going to call him Dr. Hovind, they damn better call you a doctor.
This gets better, actually, if you think about this. I'm going in for the mic. There's been talk about potentially having Kent Hovind on the Non Sequitur show again when we get it back, or having him like on and around for different shows if we can convince him. I will make Kent Hovind call me doctor.
Oh my god. That would be so awesome. Oh man. Yes.
Be
you
blessed.
Need to get something that looks like his Dr. Hovind mug, where it's got like that Germanic, like calligraphy script where it says Dr. Hovind. You need a mug that says Dr. Cheshire and has whatever that weird quote is under it that he has. Oh my goodness!
Should I have like a Dr. Cheshire mug that says quote, "Hi, I'm Kent Hovind. Kent Hovind's thesis."
Oh my goodness. Oh, that would be so amazing.
We might be overplaying it.
Maybe. But here's the thing.
Yes.
You would have done the same work that he says he did. And the thing is, from what I've seen, Patriot Bible University does actually make you do coursework. they don't just take your money and give you a diploma. They actually do make you do something to quote unquote earn it. And I'd be curious to see what that is. It's obviously not valid because, no one who is reasonably able to certify you as an institution able to give PhDs has ever said that Patriot Bible University counts. But there's something to it. And if you did as much work to get your doctorate as Kent Hovind did, I don't see any reason why it would be at all reasonable for him to deny you the title when he likes to use it.
Yeah.
And if he does, screw him.
It would be entertaining either way at the end of the day.
Well, yeah.
The additional thing there is we'll cross this bridge when we get there, but I want to know if people would be mad at me if I got a job at a church as their psychologist.
I might be a little iffy if you were actually trying to give people psychological advice without being legitimately qualified.
That's fair.
So that would be the part that would concern me is are you actually going to give people like legitimately hurting damaged people? Are you going to be giving them bad advice?
You do realize that what my answer would be is that I'd be giving people biblical advice about their lives or whatever they're coming to, and anybody comes to me with an actual real life problem, I'm going to say go talk to a real psychologist.
Okay, well in that case, then sure
I could be doing I could be doing a lot of good work within the church.
Yeah, well, if that's what you were doing, then I wouldn't personally be angry. But if you were giving people weird Patriot Bible U based advice that was going to potentially harm them, then I would be I don't know that that's a reasonable thing. But if you weren't, then I'd say go for it. That'd be fun.
Do legitimate psychology and you'd be taking the place of a quack. Hi Silix, welcome over. We're just wrapping up over here. We're talking about potentially going to the same university that Kent Hovind went to and getting a psychology degree for $2,000. So
a Christian psychology degree.
A Christian psychology degree. So if anybody would like to let us know if you're willing or want to donate to that, tweet out the idea, tweet it out to maybe people that have a little bit of a larger following that might be interested in it. That way we can potentially get the ball rolling. If we do get enough messages and the ball is rolling, and that's something we'll do, probably Dapper will end up setting up a GoFundMe.
Yeah, I will. And if we go significantly over the 2,000 or so that it costs, we might actually do things like have me or Bent Hovind also attempt to get a PhD from Patriot Bible University, because I would love a PhD in Christian paleontology.
Yeah, I would totally do that. You could call me Dr. Bent Hovind, no relation.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, we could do this as a yearly thing. 1 year I get one year you get one.
That would be amazing.
It's just an ongoing...
Yes. So yeah, that...
It's season 1 is me, season 2 is Bent.
So I gotta say, when I told... so some of you might know who Dr. Dan is. He's a virologist. He's a professor at Rutgers. He's been on my channel several times. I've been on his channel a few times. He has a new channel. He's just entering sort of the YouTube creationism debating scene. But when I told him about the details that I found on the Patriot Bible University website about how to get a PhD, he was at a loss for words. He just had nothing. He was just that's not how any of this works. That's no. And I was I know, dude. I don't know what you want from me. So I told him that we were thinking about trying to do some kind of crowdfund thing to get the money to give them to do this, and he said that would be hilarious.
This sounds like something the atheist community should get behind. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Letty says, Aaron could even get behind it, honestly. Chesh can get her 3rd degree in rock identification.
This rock is an atheist rock, but that rock is a theist rock.
I can't. All right, that's enough. We're done. We're getting out of here. You guys let us know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, become a member if you want. Whatever. Send me money if you want.
Yeah, YouTube things.
let us know if you want us to do that. Leave a comment down below about what degrees you think we should get, and let Dapper know, and me know, and Bent know on Twitter. Links will be in the description, and if you are looking at the Forbes is a bit of a dick because we were reading Forbes articles. They're a bit of a dick about letting you see their articles. If you open them in incognito mode, no problems. So
it's not just for prawn anymore.
Yeah. So have a good day, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye. We're out.